everybody, and welcome to Top Rope Reality.
Episode 22.
Big 2 and 2.
That's right.
22.
That's right.
And we're going to start off with some TNA. We're starting off with TNA
TNA
first.
news.
So you know it's got to be some big news.
Of course it is.
Well, they're adding more former WWE superstars to their roster.
Does that shock you?
It doesn't shock me.
Good.
It's TNA.
Exactly.
They're trying to build those ratings up, aren't they?
Trying to do something.
But Dixie Carter, she tweeted out that they have signed and they will deliver at their next New York City tapings
Tajiri.
the Buzzsaw Tajiri.
That's right.
How old is he? What is he, 60 now?
It's kind of old there. But also,
I guess he's coming to,
this is the reason, though, is
help
because
Muta.
he's been working with Muta's promotion.
Well, that makes
So we'll
sense.
probably get Tajiri and Muta taking on James Storm and Sonata.
Boy,
Did I just already name a match? I think I did.
one of these things is not like the other. It's Fat James Storm. Okay.
That's right.
What's wrong with his face? It's like he's got just like
Just kind of chunky.
chunky monkey. Too many beers.
A beginning and an ending again this week.
Yes.
DJ Zema Ion has got a contract extension with the TNA organization, a multi-year deal.
Wow, so he's making $500 more. All right.
Woo!
Woo!
That's a new beginning for TNA.
He's got a multi-year deal?
Multi-year deal.
You sure it ain't multi-month deal?
I wouldn't be surprised. Or a multi-day.
Maybe should be a multi-day extension.
Should. So that's a new beginning for TNA and an ending for TNA.
The oldest scapegoat.
That's right. This is the reason why TNA's not doing good. Of course. It's not that Dixie Carter is doing things her way or that Big John's in charge. No. It's because of a consultant that sits at the house, doesn't even show up there.
Who's supposed to be working for TNA? How can you fire somebody who's not supposed to be working for you?
Right? It was so top secret, then it got out, and all of a sudden they were like, well, you're fired.
Yes, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, they have fired, as of July the 30th, Mr. Vince Russo.
I know somewhere he needs to go work. Maybe it'll help some other's product.
Apparently, Russo was a consultant for TNA on their product, and his big thing was producing commentary. I think Mike Tenay can handle that.
I would hope so. But they would say that
Weird.
I saw where they said that when he put some input into the show,
Right.
the ratings went up. So
Just
now
an ego boost.
what we was talking about with DJ a while ago of multi-day, multi-month is the reports are out right now that when October comes around and you look at Spike's schedule, TNA will not be on it.
Supposedly. Now, that nothing has been confirmed by
There's
TNA.
still talks.
They're still trying to renew things, and TNA and Spike neither have commented saying that they're done with each other. But the thing is, if it does happen, where does such a large roster go to?
That is true, because there's a lot of people and not many spaces open in other organizations.
No.
I mean, number one on the list will be Jeff Jarrett's.
Yes, because he hasn't even started yet. So
He hasn't burned bridges with the people. A lot of the wrestlers in TNA love Jeff Jarrett. They hate to see Jeff Jarrett go. So I believe Global Force Wrestling will be stop number one.
Right.
But you say it's not like with Spike. Spike hasn't said it's totally done. It's just rumored right now.
Yep.
TNA hasn't said they're going somewhere else. But I've seen, I read somewhere that if they do sign a deal, it's going to be for less money.
Of course.
And TNA is already sucking money now. How can they survive with less money? I believe this is the end for TNA.
It could be. It's all speculation right now, but we will see what happens with them. I'm just curious as to... I really don't care for the company itself, but there's a lot of great wrestlers in that company
Oh, yes.
I would like to see succeed, whether they go to Ring of Honor, Global Force, New Japan, or WWE.
Or the independents, because look at AJ Styles.
Same,
He's
make a
making
lot of
more
money.
money than he did with TNA, and I believe a lot of other people could do it too. But back to what you was talking about with the roster, a very huge roster.
It is.
And Ring of Honor, I mean, they're pretty much packed right now.
They are
And
packed.
how can you bring in more people? Then the people that work for you be pissed off. Okay, well, you brought these people for TNA, and you're using them on TV, and I'm getting the chef, and I've been with you since day one, or So it's a very rough decision.
But there's some lower card people, and I'm not dogging on anybody, but when I look at a roster and a man's name is Cheeseburger, I'm gonna go for Samoa Joe rather than put cheeseburger on my
Yeah,
television
that is
screen.
true.
I'm just saying that's just me personally.
And I can see Samoa Joe go back. I can see Austin Aries going back.
And even they say Eddie Edwards,
But what
but
about
not Davey Rich.
I know.
Because they apparently have burned bridges.
David Richards
not
has
Eddie.
burned some bridges there, and so has Kenny King. So Ring of Honor is not a good option for them.
They'll both probably have to go to the independents, but I think Eddie and Davey will stick together because they know the money is in the tag team.
Yes.
They're not individually. I don't know if they'd go that far.
And they got Tiger Uno. He could go. They said he could go back to Mexico, which as a Mexico, there's another thing for a lot of people to go to Mexico.
Yes, Tigre Uno would go to Mexico. Sonata, he has
Yes.
joint thing right now
Yes,
with Wrestle One and TNA, so he has 2 contracts. So he could just go right back to Wrestle One.
Yeah, I think he's pretty safe. Anybody who's still connected with Wrestle One is pretty much, they go, okay, whatever, and go back to where they were
Right.
before.
But I mean, if you think about the bigger names, like you've got Jeff Hardy, you've got Samoa Joe, we already spoke
Yes.
about him, but you got Kurt Angle, Bobby Roode, James Storm. I mean, if they took Bobby Roode and James Storm and put them in WWE, combine them together again and make them a new tag team again, I could see that working in WWE. They need tag teams.
Oh, yes.
And Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy could go as part-timers to the WWE.
I think that's the only thing they could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work that
I could
way.
see them going to the independents, but they're definitely not going to make the money they're used to making. AJ Styles, I can understand that one. Kurt Angle going to the independents, it would be great for those promotions.
But I don't think they
But
could
they
afford
could
him.
afford him.
No, not his high. And I think he'd have a high price tag, and it wouldn't be very.
And of course, we ain't got to worry about Lashley's got a job with Bellator, and
Yes.
so does King Mo, and
Yes.
Rampage Jackson apparently don't work for WWE no more. Which I
That's
don't know if you saw that one, but he trashed TNA. I saw the interview.
He's an
He
actor, for goodness
trashed.
sake, who cares?
He trashed them.
But they did, after all this of where people could go and stuff like that, they did say, and TNA officials have promised the roster good news
Good
in
news.
2 weeks at
Mhm.
the next Impact taping.
So I would love to hear what that good news is.
You're out of here.
Definitely. Yeah,
You're going to
that's
get paid until October.
Yep. So we will have more on the TNA situation as weeks go by, but right now it's only speculation.
Yes, because right now, if things come to pass and TNA goes out of business, then Bound for Glory will be a farewell show.
Yep.
In Japan, not
In
even
Japan.
America.
Nope.
So now some WWE news real quick here. Cena will miss another Raw coming up this Monday.
Be Austin,
8-4.
Texas. He will not be there.
So that means the ratings will go up.
There you go. It helped last time.
We also know you noted that we talked about that WWE extended Rey Mysterio's contract because of the time he missed, and they were talking about doing that with CM Punk. They just cut Punk and said we're not going to do
Smart
anything.
idea. They shouldn't have done it with Ray because
But
what's
Ray-
Ray helping?
Now Ray, it's not like he's got a stick up his butt, and he's not cashing his checks, which means he wants to get out of his contract. They should just cut and run with him anyway because he's too
So
integral.
integral.
Ray's a great talent, but them days have passed.
You say you don't want to push Dolph Ziggler because of concussions, and Christian's the same way. Then why keep Ray around? He has had so
Ray
many
has done nothing.
knee injuries and all kinds of other stuff. Just let him go. Let him go to Mexico and do a shorter schedule. And you know what? He can help Conan out down there and be done with it.
Yes. Yeah, let him go ahead and go away and do what he got to do. Because if you're not cashing your paychecks, that means you don't want to stay around. So why keep him?
Right.
You know.
He must be doing pretty well.
Plus,
coming up in
they have
cash
just
next
signed. They signed, sealed, and delivered 3 new talent for NXT.
year. Yep.
And I think that's NXT's future is going to look much, much brighter when you had Prince
Devitt.
Devitt, Kenta, and Kevin Steen.
Yes.
And they have like with Sin Cara, they told everybody, they said what his old name was, but they gave the new name. With these
They have
3,
not done
with
the
these
name.
2, they haven't said anything. They pretty much promoted them as their names.
Right.
And I hope they do the same for Kevin Steen, but they may change his name up. And then finally on WWE News, Hall of Famer Roddy Piper's getting a little biopic.
Yes, during his one-man show in Scotland, claimed there was a movie about his life being made, and I like the actor who's going to be playing it.
It was very interesting to see Mark Wahlberg
Wahlberg, yes.
play Roddy Piper.
That would be interesting.
Especially if you look back at some things Piper did, see if he could act the same way as
I
Piper.
think Mark Wahlberg could do that, but Also, some Global Force
We
news.
ain't had none of that in a while. But
Apparently, they are now partnering with European promotions.
well, they are global, so they might as well be global for the global force.
So they've got Mexico, Japan, and European stuff going on right now. It sounds like what they're going to have is joint contracts, is
Yes.
what I'm thinking. Joint contracts with their talent. So they don't lose their talent, but they still work for Global Force.
Revolution Pro Wrestling, they'll be doing that. Covers England. New Generation Wrestling covers North England.
There you go.
Premier British Wrestling covers Scotland. West Side Extreme Wrestling covers Germany. Emerald Wrestling Promotions covers Ireland. So, I mean, it's good. And then you may have some TNA guys come in. So you have the Europeans and the Americans and all that. It should be great.
So
for
they're going to
Jeff
be working
Jarrett.
with every one of those promotions.
That's what it says.
Wow.
Yes.
Jarrett
That's
said
what it
we
says.
put
We
the
put the
word
word-
global in this new brand, and we meant it. I like it.
Yes, and I think it's going to be good. And he's a new home, maybe Spike TV. So
That's true.
Like I said, we'll keep you up what happens there. But I would hate. I mean, we crack on TNA a lot, but I would hate for TNA to go out of business.
I don't because of the boys. I want the boys to succeed. I don't want them to lose their
I want
jobs.
TNA to get better. Because if they get better, WWE gets better. So it's all around. It's all better for everybody. The fans get a better product from both shows.
Exactly.
But when you're the top dog, you have no competition.
But if every 6 months you just change things up, and we're reinventing TNA, we're
You can't do that.
rebooting TNA, you cannot sit there and keep doing that. Every
No.
time you get a new writer, we're rebooting. No, just gradually get rid of the older stuff that you don't want, and then put your new regime in. Don't
Yeah.
do a reboot every 6 months.
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
That's exactly what they've been doing.
Well, that's it for part one, folks. Right here, we'll be back with part two with our indie news, which you love. We know you love indie news.
That's right.
And then
Got a lot of it.
part three will be countdown. So we'll be right back for part two of our indie news right here on YouTube at Type Rut Reality, episode 22.